Welcome into the D2 Baseball Podcast. Robert Fry here, joined today with our special guests in our Head Coaching Changes series. And today we have Lance Spongberg, the newest head coach at Newman University. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Adjusting with some weather stuff and working on the field day in and day out this week. But other than that, doing great, enjoying time, and got a good community here. So everything's going well on our end.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about, the, process of you, first, a little bit of your background, one, and then two, kind of what was the process like for you and being the head coach at Newman?
Yeah, a little background, started up at Morningside College just as a student assistant, and then a volunteer the following year. That's where I played my 4 years in Sioux City, Iowa, and then got the chance to rejoin a former coach of mine and Gabe Grinder down at Ottawa University. Got my master's down there, stuck around for another year, had a lot of success and learned a lot during those years, and then got the chance to move on to a new program at Division II up in William Jewell College alongside Mike Stockton, where I kind of got a lot of freedom there and the ability to take next step in recruiting, next step in practice planning, and trying to spread my wings a little bit there as a coach, and got a lot of freedom in that process. So that helped a lot in the learning curve as well. And then took a leap and traveled cross country last year down to Florida to rejoin Gabe Grinder and Josh Larinaga, two guys that I respect highly in the coaching world, to continue to learn and continue to get pushed by them, and then also join one of the best programs in the country. And it paid off. That's for sure. We had a great year, and led me to here. And the process of that was pretty interesting. Sitting out in Idaho, submitting resumes and doing interviews underneath the awning in the back at what I thought was going to be 10 in the morning, but I didn't take into account the time change. So sitting down there early mornings, doing interviews, just talking to different schools about trying to join on and what I can bring to the programs. And it really went pretty quick. I'm very familiar with Wichita, playing summer ball down here for 2 years, coaching for 4 years down here, and then spend a lot of time in the Kansas City area. So I didn't have to make the trip out here to see it, because I knew what I was getting into if they offered it, and things like that. So it moved pretty quick. Got back from the World Series. Day later, got offered it, and then took it maybe 24 hours later after that. So quick process.
Quick process indeed. And so I kind of want to go back to that last season at Southeastern, where you were the national runner-up in the NAIA level. Talk a little bit about kind of that season as a whole, and what your experience that you learned, through that deep postseason run that can maybe help you here at Newman.
Yeah. The experience there was great. Got the opportunity to work with a bunch of high-level players and continue to bring guys in. But really, it was about creating a new culture there. We had, I think we got 6 or 7 guys back from the year before. I didn't get a huge hand in the recruiting process that summer because I was hired later. But they brought a bunch of guys in that we had to mold together and create a team and create one cohesive unit, rather than 45 different guys pulling in different directions and things like that. So kind of revitalized that, and made me ready for this moment when we got here and the roster was thin and we had to build, and now we're going to have to build through this process and getting these guys to work together. But that was a huge point. And then just going through the trials of the season, of getting everybody's best shot, because you're Southeastern and they know what you've done in the past and things like that. So you got everyone's best shot night in, night out. And then when things got tough, you had to find ways to alter your plan and get around it and find different ways to win baseball games. Which was big for us once conference started, and went on a little skid, but ultimately got through it, and finished the year strong, winning the conference in the regular season. And then once we got into the postseason, man, our guys showed up. They trusted the process of what we did all year to prepare them. We ran some huge plays late in the postseason. We ran a huge fake pick to first, throw to third, got a guy in maybe one of the biggest games of the year and probably the biggest moment. I've never seen the play work until that day, but man, it couldn't have worked at a better time. And things like that, but trusting the process of what you put in place and just the constant push on a daily basis to be a championship team is something that was awesome to be a part of as well.
And you mentioned, getting hired on the press release, announced June 6th and kind of that recruiting process, but kind of what was that like for you this summer, basically just saying, I got to basically build a new roster, but then I also have to learn the administrative side of Newman and all that jazz, trying to combine those two things, in just a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was hectic. It was hectic. Had to hire a coaching staff, which I'm extremely happy we got. Jake Sellinger came from Colorado Springs, and he's going to be joining us for our hitting guy. And then Jordan Phillips, a guy that played for me up at William Jewell, that had a very good career up there, is going to come be our GA and help us out as well. So I'm happy for those guys and locking those guys down as quickly as we did. But the process being quick was awesome, because that was my biggest worry, is like, we need to get this process going so I can start recruiting guys. And finding guys that want to come play for us. And then, shoot, you know how it goes, pulling guys back out of the portal, guys don't want to be a part of it. And that process was fairly easy. Took a lot of word from the guys that are here, because I think it says a lot about the people that are in your program that, hey, this guy wasn't the guy we want, or this guy, we need to have him back. So we made the calls we needed to make, and didn't make the calls that weren't pushed upon me from the guys that are here, teammate wise, personality wise, character wise, and things like that, and moved on with that. And then we continued to just attack on a daily basis of recruiting at all angles, everywhere in the country, wherever it pushed. We tried to find the guys that had the right personalities and people that want to come in and work and kind of rebuild something, and also make a name for themselves, and kind of some guys that, hey, this is a new chance. This is a clean slate here with a new coaching staff that wants to push you and work with you. And I think we have a hungry group of guys that are going to get after on a daily basis, and they're coming together already as it is.
And Coach, with this kind of new opportunity, obviously a new opportunity, you is the first time as a head coach for a 4-year program. Talk a little bit about how excited you are to be able to lead a program, one, and then two, like, what are some takeaways? You mentioned, Coach Greiner, Coach Stockton, some of the, head coaches that you've worked with, how's their impact been to be able to put you in this role?
Impact's been as high as it can get. I've learned a lot from the years I played under Brian Drent, who's one of my mentors that I love talking to and learning from. Coach Boovy there at Morningside after Coach Drent. Coach with him for a year, continue to learn from him whenever I get the chance. He's running a good program up there. Gabe Grinder, he's been turnaround programs like it's his job year in and year out, and things like that. So he does a great job, and learned a ton of things from him. And then Mike Stockton, been in one spot for a long time, and has created something there that's better than a lot of places I've been when it comes to culture and how guys are supposed to act on a daily basis. So those impacts are far and away more knowledge than I've ever learned, or that I ever will. And I'm very grateful for those moments. Not only them giving me the keys to what they do, but also allowing me to have the freedom within their programs to go out and do things, try new things, put it in front of them. Plenty of times it's got shot down, but plenty of times they let me do them, and things like that. But continue to grow and really just ultimately just keep pushing you. I think you're only as good as the person in front of you that's pushing you. And if you get complacent, then that's when you come to a halt. And you stop growing. It's all about growth. It's all about growing with the game. It's all about finding new ways to win, new ways to make guys better on a daily basis. And that's been the biggest thing for me is I needed the push. And they were also very, very helpful in the process of finding a spot, because everywhere I've went, I told them, hey, number one goal is to be a head coach. That's what I want to do. And they've all been very supportive of it, because they were in those same shoes at some point in their career as well. So have a lot of respect for all 5 of those guys, or all 4 of those guys, and very grateful for everything they've given me.
And within that, you were a part of just many successful programs in terms of just raising the bar. Like Ottawa, while you were there, became a perennial regional team, right? And then William Jewell had 3 straight seasons of 30+ wins. Southeastern, the expectations were high, but you still go beyond them by making it to the championship game. Kind of what have you learned with that in terms of this continued success, and how do you plan to implement it to help Newman continue their increase their success?
Yeah, I think it's finding the right guys, finding guys that fit your mold, finding guys that fit kind of what you like to do, and then finding coachable guys that are willing to change and do things the way you want to do them, and then putting them around each other, making sure we're together as much as we possibly can, creating that chemistry within the group where you're all one group instead of 45 different guys that are just there to play baseball. And that's kind of the thing is when you're at junior college, you're all trying to get somewhere else. Like we're all here and we're all here to accomplish one goal together, and things like that. So it's kind of creating that family type feel within your team. But then it's just putting standards on guys and holding them to it. The expectations will be high. I tell everybody that wants to come into this program is the expectations are going to be high from our coaching staff to you. Whether that's on the field, off the field, in the classroom, out in the community, like we have to high character individuals that want to work like crazy and get better on a daily basis. So the expectations are high, and then holding them accountable and not letting off the gas. Like we're going to push them and we're going to keep pushing them. And when they get to the top, we're going to push them some more. And things like that. I think it's the constant pursuit and the constant expectation that they understand is there. And they understand that they're not there yet, but we're getting closer, and things like that. So doing those things are something that are some pieces that have always been a mainstay in all those programs, and what we've implemented and helped grow into new programs and things like that. So those were probably the main points that I can pull from those.
And a similar story to how you were a part of a national runner-up team. Entering this conference, you have a team that was a national runner-up team a season ago. Within the MIAA, a competitive league, how excited are you to be able to compete in this conference and understand like what the bar has to be at to be able to be a top team in this conference?
Yeah, unbelievably excited for the opportunity to compete against probably some of the best coaches in Division II. And that's awesome to be able to experience. It was great to experience at the NAIA level this last year at Southeastern and going up against those teams. The first week we played 4 top 15 teams, and it's just great baseball. And things like that. And it's always fun to be around that. I'm a competitor, so they're great coaches, but I'm still gonna come to beat them. And I'm gonna do everything I can to get there. And that's what competitors do, and that's what I want our guys to do. It's just, hey, we're not scared of you. We respect you and what you've done in the past and what you do on a yearly basis. But we're going to come and compete with you. We're going to do everything we can to play the game the right way and show up and give you every fight for your money, and things like that. So we're excited about it. We're anxious to get going, but we also know we can't skip the fall and the winter because we got to make ourselves better.
Absolutely. And one thing you have kind of an interesting experience of is, most of your coaching career and playing career has been in the Midwest, but then you obviously go to Southeastern last season and come back. What in terms of like style of play was kind of eye-opening at Southeastern that maybe you can think of improving here in the Midwest?
I would say down there, we kind of got some weird looks when we drop a bunt down there early in the game, and try and move guys over. We'd play some junior colleges in the fall that would get mad at us for playing the game that way, and kind of trying to produce runs early, produce runs in the middle of the game instead of just trying to guerrilla ball it around the field. So it's really just about being dynamic, and finding different ways to score. Being able to run a little bit. They didn't run a whole lot down there, to be honest, not as much as they do up here. But just trying to find different ways to be dynamic as an offense, create different ways to score. And that's kind of what I talk about guys that are willing to change and how they do things, is just being the guy that's willing to change and hit the ball on the backside or lift the ball in the outfield with a guy on third or drop the safety squeeze down, drop the bunt down and things like that. But finding different ways, being dynamic and just altering to the way it's got to be done that day.
And within that too, with your experience at William Jewell, understanding the Division II level for 3 years, and especially the 4-game conference weekends. Now in the MIAA, you have 3 games conference weekends, but also a conference midweek. Talk a little bit about your plans or ideas for like managing that kind of, to be able to have that kind of depth once you enter those kind of games, especially even non-conference games, because there's still you have to treat those games just as important for regional purposes.
Yeah, it's kind of a weight off my shoulders, to be honest. Those 4-game weekends slid in with a midweek in between those. That's not fun. I'll tell you that much. And finding the depth for that's no fun at all. But 3-game weekends is awesome. I'm excited for that. Don't have to play any double headers, so that's about as good as it gets there. I'm happy with that. But yeah, just having the 3-game weekends and then the midweek is, like you said, even if they're non-conference, you got to play to win. And you don't roll over. You don't not play to win a game. That's just not in my DNA, and it won't be in our team. So we'll be coming, even if it's a midweek against somebody that's out of our region or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just attack it. Try to win 1 game at a time. I always say, why plan for the last one when you got one in front that you can win? And things like that. So keep it in the back of our mind as coaches, but push on our team. Like, we got to win the one in front of us. No reason to look ahead, because you might let one slip if you do.
And now within your experience as a pitching coach, let us know of the, what's your involvement in terms of running the pitching staff at Newman, and then talk a little bit about, your thought process in terms of pitching in, like an offensive league like the MIAA.
Yeah, involvement here will be as high as it can be. I'll be out there most every time. I talk about Jake, our hitting guy, being a lot like me about 4 years ago. Needs a chance to go out and run his own offense. And I trust him to do that. Obviously I'll oversee everything, but I trust him to create an offense that can score a bunch of runs and play the way we want to play. But I'll be with the pitchers almost every day. And I'll be there nonstop and focusing with them, because that's what I like to do. That's what I do. That's what I do best, I feel like. And they need work. They need guys that want to work with them and push with them. And they just have been a little bit neglected in the past. And you got to have that. You got to have that care and that work to grow as a pitcher. And then our other assistant, Jordan Phillips, he's pitched a little bit, played a little bit in the field, so he'll bounce around as well. So they'll have 2 sets of eyes on him at times. If I can't be there, I got to be in with the offense. Like, he can take them, and I feel very strongly that he'll be able to handle those guys within the direction and the plan that we have on a daily basis. We've got it planned out, and how to create guys better and continue to grow within those as well. So I'll be heavily involved in the pitching here at Newman, and then from there, when it comes to the Midwest and Division II, like, you got to keep the ball down. You got to keep the ball down. You got to be able to mix pitches and then sequence pitches right, and find different ways to be successful as a pitcher. If you're a one-pitch guy, you're probably going to get racked. And if you want to try and live that way, you're only going to be in there for about an inning. We got to be able to throw multiple pitches for strikes, mix speeds, and hold the running game. So just being well refined around on the pitching staff and finding guys that can get it done for us. We'll find them and we'll create guys and help them grow in the areas they need to grow in. So,
and within the kind of, want to ask you in terms of coaching philosophy, like what do you plan to implement here at Newman, not just for short-term success, but long-term sustainable success?
Just a good culture that wants to buy into what we're doing. and how we want to play the game. We want to be a dynamic offense that can, on days when we all know the wind's blowing out 30 miles an hour, we can lift it in the air. But on those days where it's flipped around, we can still do the other stuff. We can play gap to gap, but we can also drop a bunt down. We can hit the ball on the backside to third and play dynamically as an offense. And then on the pitching side, like no matter what you're doing, you got to throw strikes, and you got to throw strikes in multiple pitches. So just being a dynamic team that's going to grow, that's going to fight, it's going to be there till the end. We're not going to get tired because we're going to be well prepared for what we're about to step into. We're going to on the coaching side, we're going to try to out prepare people and make sure our guys are ready for what they're about to face on the upcoming weekend and in the midweek and things like that. So just a hard, tough team that is going to be a hard out every day you come out there. And when it's not to the standard, they're going to know about it. But we're going to come and play and be guys that nobody really wants to face for 3 days straight. Just tough-nosed guys that are going to come ready to go and give you everything they got for that short period.
And within that, within the Wichita community, how do you plan to incorporate that community into enhancing Newman baseball?
Yeah. It's a rich baseball community. They got, I don't even know how many teams in summer ball around here anymore, with probably fit upwards to 15 teams around the area. You obviously have the NBC World Series that's hosted here, which is a great event that I love. I got a chance to play, got a chance to coach in that, which was awesome. I hope everybody gets a chance to go down there and play in that because it's definitely an experience you'll always remember. They got the Wichita Wind Surge here. So the baseball community is great here. For me, I'm not going to seek into that until we can start putting our feet down. I got other stuff we got to worry about from the get-go. We got to start winning baseball games. We got to be successful here. And that's our number one priority. And getting Newman baseball where it needs to be. And then we'll start to expand and help out around there. And hey, everybody loves fall in a winter. So that's one thing that's undefeated. You gotta find a way to win games and get people on your side, and then start raising a little morale around the area, and hopefully get some guys out. And that's one big thing was we have a good alumni that follow us and that stay with us and things like that. So we got to get them back on board, get them back on out to games and things like that. We're excited to get to experience a new side of friendship and relationship with those guys, even though we didn't get to play with them. We're now part of their family, I should say, and things like that. So we're excited about creating those relationships and rekindling some of that stuff. So it'll be a good experience, but we got to get our feet wet and start winning some games early on, and then we'll establish all that.
And Coach, final question I have for you is, within your coaching experience, playing experience, you kind of talked a little bit about it, but kind of expand on it more. Some people that have impacted you in your life to get to where you are today.
Yeah. Number one, my father. He coached high school baseball. He's still coaching, probably 37 years now, I think. So he's a longtime coach there. Even on all other sports, Coach John Ladahoff from my high school. One of our assistant coaches has been a big influence on me, and a lot of that's just discipline and working on your craft on a daily basis and the expectation of what it takes to be great on a daily basis. And then some older guys when I was at Morningside, walking in as a freshman, Matt and John Russell, Jeff Gakey, John Sorensen, guys that I played with that taught me the ropes from the get-go. The change from high school to college and what it takes in the weight room, in the cafeteria, all that type of stuff, and continuing to grow through those guys. And then, like I said, Coach Drent, he's been a great mentor and now a great friend that constantly checks up on us, and I respect him highly and everything he taught me through the process, not only as a coach but as a person as well. Coach Boovy, I was only there for a year with him, but I greatly appreciate everything he taught me. I still stay in touch with him. Gabe Grinder's been probably the biggest influence out of all coaches. I kind of jumped on with him and kind of rode around with him around the country and got to experience a lot, but that's been one of the biggest reasons why I love coaching, why I love this opportunity to put my mark on something and create a culture and create a team that can be successful. But he's been a huge influence, not only as a baseball coach, but he's one of my better friends and a guy I can always go to through anything, whether it's tough or easy times. And Josh Larinaga down there has been great as well. We text all the time and figure out a way to find something to talk about and things like that when we're both sitting here not able to go out with our teams yet and things like that. So that he's been great. And then Mike Stockton, again, gave me the reins to a lot of things, which gave me the chance to expand as a coach and grow. So those are the main people in my life that have been huge. My wife, Shannon, she's moved around the country for me. She took on a whim with a 1-year-old driving 22 hours. So that was, I'm sure, a blast while I was in the U-Haul with my dog. But she's been great and supported me throughout the time I've been a coach, and they're the best. They're the reason why you can do it, and they're the reason why you get to experience this and have this type of stuff. And then all the coaches that I've coached with, my assistants now have been great for the short time they've been here, and I'll always give them their respect, because you can only be as good as your assistants. So those are the main people, and then people like yourself that are willing to cover this size of baseball and these levels. Like, we have NAIA ball at NAIA. Those guys are great. They cover our sport and our level there. And man, you kill it every day here and showing what D2 baseball is about and things like that. So those are great people. And then the last people that is the staff that's here. We have a new AD, Kenyon Spears. He's been awesome, really pushing the needle. And then Zach Brake and a couple other people, Billy Murphy in Newman, that are willing to really help me through the process of getting onboarded and started and familiarized with things. So I appreciate every one of those people and couldn't be here without them.
And Coach, that's high praise for a lot of people, and I'm sure you want to give back to the Newman baseball program by giving them high praise and hopefully find some success. So we wish you the best of luck here, and sincerely appreciate you coming on to talk about the program and talk about a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate everything you do.
And that is Lance Spongberg, head coach at Newman University.